Shallow men believe in luck. Strong men believe in cause and effect. Ralph Waldo Emerson. My friends, good. I'm coming to you in the early morning hours. I think I told you guys earlier in the week. I'm over here in Europe, have been traveling, and have had some good issues and bad issues with internet connections, but everything is going a little slow today. I'm coming to you way in the early morning hours. Sorry I did not get this out yesterday afternoon as I prefer to do, but I want to get it covered for you before the markets open so you are prepared with your practice trades. Let's talk about where we are. S&P, NASDAQ are up along with bonds. Gold and Bitcoin are down. And as the week plugs along, and as things can do with this market that just keeps on keeping on, what have we had? We had red candles to begin with on the S&P, and as the week started, and look how things have rotated over. We now have a doji. That, of course, means a lot of indecision. We have red volume. Now, what does red volume mean? To me, we opened lower than the prior close, but the market has, again, continued to try to hold itself up. As we look at our calculations on the review that we produce for you every day, we are still and have been long on stocks, but it was weakening. Up for the day, 0.84%. We can see on the two-day chart that represents, of course, Wednesday, Thursday, how things are now just sitting just above the weekly trend line, and the half-day has moved above it. Of course, we had Tuesday, starting off this shortened week down on Tuesday, and then a recovery on Wednesday and Thursday, pushing up above on the half-day chart the weekly trend line. So again, this market just keeps on keeping on. What's up with the NASDAQ 100? It is weaker. Of course, it went through the weekly trend line last week. We still have a red spinning top. Not a doji. Could change if the market continues to go up, but it was up even more, 0.91%. Volume decent. Look how the volume's been building on the two-day chart, but again, just sort of sliding sideways, sort of let's blow that up on the two-day chart. Yes, we do have a green spinning top, almost a doji there, after a red down candle representing Friday and Tuesday. Again, markets closed here in the U.S. on Monday this week. So again, NASDAQ not recovering as much, weaker than the S&P 500, but again, just refusing to give up the ghost. What do we see going on bonds? Again, the fourth week of dojis. This is crazy. Bonds, after a 3-week up move, growing in power as far as price movement goes on the 4th, that last week, the 4th of August. And then for the last now going on 4 weeks, doji. Trending, again, down a little bit, we could say, but almost horizontal as far as the trend line goes, sitting right above it on the 2-day. But the last 2 days, strong up on bonds, pushing through the weekly trend line on the 2-day chart as volume has decreased these last 2 days. So again, bonds up for the day, 0.76%. As we look at things, just really no real signal there on bonds. What about gold? Gold pulling back some. The first pullback we have seen in gold since it started this up move back on the morning of Friday, August the 22nd, and it has just accelerated and moved up, finally pulling back a little bit on gold, down 0.44%. But again, still strong and long on gold. Lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. Where is it? It's pulled back 2.14%. Of course, we are bearish on Bitcoin. It is, again, going into its third week of a red down candle, nowhere near the size of last week. We did have the 2 days on Tuesday and Wednesday where things moved up, but then pulling back decently on Thursday, continuing that downtrend. Hope you guys are doing well. Heading back to the States on Saturday. I'll work hard to get the Friday, the weekend broadcast out to you. And again, thanks so much for being with us. You have questions, problems, concerns. We love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless. All the best from Charting Wealth.